Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel. Today with a review of the Umarex HDS 68 Home Defense CO2 gun. Let me show you its features. So as you see, this looks like a sort of shotgun, which basically it is. And as you see, optics is quite threatening, even though it's a CO2 gun. Actually, this is the German version, since we are in Germany, and only the 7.5 joule, like 5 foot-pound version is legal in Germany. There is an international version that has 16 joule, 12 foot-pounds. It's far more serious. But of course, I can only show you the German version here, castrated if you want. The weapon actually is CO2 powered, and here you can put in the CO2 cartridge, and when there's pressure on it you can see that this little knob pops out, and actually you can press it to remove the pressure, to release the pressure, and then you can easily exchange the CO2 cartridge against the fresh one. You got a fire selector here, so this fires only the right barrel, this one the left barrel, and the middle stage here fires both at the same time. Although, of course, then the energy goes down by 50% for each barrel, since it's the same amount of CO2. It's just used for 2 projectiles instead of just 1. For the 7.5 joule version, this is way too weak. Then it's really only a toy. You can catch whatever you shoot with it with a hat, I think. Therefore, in the international version, it might make more sense. You got a Picatinny rail here. So outside of Germany, you may be able to attach a laser or a flashlight or something like that. In Germany, of course, that is very limited. Yeah, and then you can just open the barrels by just pushing on this button here. And as you see, the barrels are all the way through, so there's nothing that hinders you from shooting anything. So these are the powder balls, which are already shot initially. And these powder balls actually are filled with baby powder. Some of them seem to be a little bit thicker. And you simply close it and then you can go and shoot. Left barrel, bang. Right barrel, bang. And there's also rubber balls, there's pepper balls, that's all kinds of things. It's a 68 caliber, much like paintball guns. So everything that you can shoot from a paintball gun, you can also fire from this one. But I'm not reviewing it because of that. I'm reviewing it because for me it's the ideal universal CO2 launcher for pretty much anything that fits into these barrels here with little adaptation. And that didn't exist on the market before. Everything that I saw before only had very short lodgings for the like chambers for the projectiles. And this one here, I can load in whatever I want to. And that's what we're going to do today. So this is my cold steel big bore blowgun, totally legal in Germany, 62 caliber, and there's various projectiles for it, like this bamboo dart or this steel dart with a broad head. And yeah, it's not hard to shoot with it, and it does have a very good impact. It's a very close distance now, okay. Bang. Yeah, that's serious impact. And I actually think that these projectiles with a little bit of duct tape brought from 62 caliber to 68 caliber can be ideally fired from the Umarex shotgun. Okay, these are the projectiles now with a little bit of duct tape around it, and now they will fit easily and I can simply shoot them. Whoa! Bang! That was hard. Okay, then let's compare it. Let's first use the blowgun and shoot it over the crony, and then we'll test the same with the shotgun. 148.7, 137.5. And now we shoot the broadheads. 117,0, 114,6, Okay, and now the same with the shotgun, and we'll start with the bamboo darts. $256.6. $246.6. So, and now with the broadhead dart. 135.0, 135,0. 133.6, 133,6. You can very clearly see this on the impact. So this went in all the way from the shotgun, and these only about halfway. Same is true for the bamboo darts. Okay, what does this mean? Well, the big bore blowgun is actually used for hunting like squirrels and so on, like very small animals, and I think it works well. There's a ton of videos about that, but this one here shoots significantly harder already in the 7.5 joule version. So the 16 joule version would probably be a lot stronger, and you can also shoot two at the same time at the speed that you've just seen. I think this makes it a very, very attractive weapon because it's also very silent. It's actually not louder than the blowgun itself, I think. The only way to test it, ballistic gelatin with a molten in coconut. Now we'll see. Okay, we'll start with the rubber balls, but before we do that, we will replace the cartridge with a new one, such as this one. So we release the air. Now the button is removed, and now we can unscrew. I'll pick it up later. Okay, now I could store it loaded with two projectiles wherever I want to, as long as you obey the laws. And if I want to use it, I simply hammer down on this and it pops out. And now it's ready for action. Alright, well that would not have been pleasant, but nothing dramatic happened. So now we're testing it with the broadheads. That looked better. Okay, very interesting. As you see, this one slid off the coconut surface, and actually, but see how deep it penetrated into the quite tough ballistic gelatin. And this one was actually hitting the coconut, but it wasn't powerful enough to actually penetrate the hard shell. Alright, so a lot of people now want to know what would happen if I shoot the rubber balls with the 16 joule version. Well, for legal reasons I can't do this here in my garden. I actually have the right licenses, so I could buy the 16 joule version, but I could not fire it in the garden because I can only fire those guns at a range. Therefore, I'm simulating this with a slingshot. It's actually a new slingshot that I've built a few days ago. The storm brought down a huge branch of beech, and what I did is I actually carved this so that it looks like a board cut, but it is a natural fork. So as you see, it is even nicely grained, and these looks like scales, but they aren't scales. They're actually part of the original frame. I simply kind of stippled it with a wood burner, and I think it gives it a very pretty looks. It's not as ergonomical as a ram bone, but I think I still like it for design purposes. Since 16 joules, like 12 foot-pounds of energy, is ridiculously low for a slingshot, I usually shoot my slingshots with 3 bands, sometimes 4. But for this purpose, I have to cut off 2 of them per side, so this will give me roughly 12 joule. Okay. Okay, now you can see that this is something completely different. It actually went in a little bit, and actually I think these would bleed now. It would be very painful even through a jacket. So 16 joule is a different issue than 7.5. So what else can we shoot from this? Well, we can shoot glass marbles, we can shoot rusty iron balls, And we can even shoot lead balls. And if they don't really fit, then you can still wrap some duct tape around it. Okay, there's one more purpose that I think this would really fulfill, and this is shooting like anesthesia arrows for blowguns, as used by veterinarians in zoos, but also in wildlife. This is really to put animals to sleep, so they can be treated. And they often use blowguns for the purpose, because they're unregulated, obviously, but the distance is very limited, and also you only have one shot. But this would give you a very nice alternative. You have two shots and a little more power. Now this is of course not suitable for it. It's homemade. It's not suitable for the purpose, simply because the needle is too thin and will break on impact, and also because it doesn't really have a pressurized piston here. But just to see if it's viable, we're going to shoot one from the shotgun. Distance is about 10 meters. All I want to do is hit the broadside of the barn. Ha! It worked! Okay, as you can see, the needle broke off, but it hit first. Yes, you can see it here too. So a lot of people will now ask, how does this compare to another self-defense weapon that is not regulated in many countries, including Germany, the Erringer. That will be out in about 2 to 3 months. It will cost 349 euros complete in a set with 2 arrows and cartridges and everything you need, except the pump. If you don't have one, another 50 to 100 euros for a pump. This one shoots darts, like small arrows, powered with air in these cartridges, 2 shots. Well, the answer is clear. This is a less lethal weapon. You usually can hurt someone with it, but it's not likely that you're gonna kill him. Where this is definitely a lethal weapon. Not legally in Germany, but technically it is a lethal weapon, and you can only use it for self-defense in desperate situations where there's no other way to end the attack and save your life or the life of others. So therefore this is desperate measures, and this is something for everyday self-defense. Still it hurts, and still you need to treat it responsibly. But in any case. But you can combine them, because, hey, you got 2 hands, don't you? Attacker still wants to attack me even though I have this. I simply use the shotgun. And if he still doesn't want to give up, I use this. That's a different issue. Wow, well, as you see, well, this one actually went into the coconut. I'm actually surprised that it did. But these ones here, of course, deeply, deeply embedded themselves into the coconut. Wow. Whoa. Yeah. Okay, so what is my conclusion about the HDS 68 from Umarex? Well, I think in the 16 joule version it would be even more fun, but even in this version it is fun. Not so much because it's suitable for self-defense, which I think it isn't really, because it's not powerful enough. Although we've seen with the broadheads and so on, maybe. But in essence, this actually I think is a fun gun. It's just to have some fun. It is quiet, it is cheap to shoot, you can load pretty much anything into it, and therefore I think that even though it costs about 180 euros, which is quite some price for a weapon like this, it is worth it because it's so much fun. Anyway, I hope you like this, because that's it for today. Thanks and bye-bye.